In this video, I'm going to help you prepare for your Scrum Master interview by giving you tips and tricks on how you can be a standout candidate. The best part of this video is I will give you a model answer which you can borrow and use in your interview when posed questions. So, ladies and gentlemen, John Beam is my name. I'm from Winki IT Consulting, where we train and mentor Scrum Masters. So, if you want to take a Scrum Master training or be mentored as one, please reach out to us and we will support. In this our channel, we are supporting candidates. We are preparing material which candidates who are preparing for their interviews can use in order to prepare for their interviews or become standout candidates. We'll tackle another scenario based question. I would just want to share my screen. So it is a scenario based question, and this question goes thus: a member of the Scrum team does not want to participate in the sprint planning and considers the meeting as a waste of time. How do you deal with this attitude? So this is a question that is posed to you. And immediately, like I've always said, take a deep breath, think before you start to talk. Do not think in the process of talking. You don't sell yourself well. So, what is this question all about? This is a scenario. A team member is not attending, is not regular in the sprint planning sessions, and because he considers this is a waste of time. This is already a difficult situation. So, the interviewer wants to understand how you can approach this situation. A couple of things, like I always said, think of the expectations. What do they expect of you? First, do you understand the scenario? Do you understand that this is a behavior against the Scrum values as stipulated in the Scrum guide? Do you understand that this is a toxic scenario, a situation that can be very toxic to the team? And they want to understand how you have dealt with this kind of situation if you have experienced it in your past roles as a Scrum Master. And of course, to do that well, you need to use a STAR method, which is what we shall deliver in this video of today. By the way, if you are gaining value up to this moment, please don't forget to comment, share, like, and even subscribe. When you subscribe, hit the notification button so that you don't miss any video when we post on our YouTube channel. Now that you've had an understanding of the situation, that it is a toxic situation, the team member is irregular and is not really living up to the expectation of the team, is not really respecting the Scrum value. So, how do you deal with this situation? A couple of ways apply in this situation. In my experience, what I've always done is to have an understanding of the reason behind the attitude of the team member. What I've always done is reach out to a team member to understand in a one-on-one or private discussion what is the reason behind your behavior. Why is it that you are irregular? Just to have a clarity of the reason as to why he doesn't see this as important to be taking part in the sprint planning. Not only the sprint planning, but also other Scrum events. Then the next thing I've always tried to do is to further in this private chat explain the importance of sprint planning. I always consider that maybe this team member that is not attending the sprint planning session doesn't understand why the sprint planning is really important. So I take time to explain what is the whole idea of the sprint planning. Just to explain to him to understand, we have a sprint planning in order to prepare, like the word says, to plan for our sprint. What will we be working on in the sprint? How are we going to work on this item in this sprint? And at the end of the day, we have to come up with a sprint goal where the team will actually focus on what they will be delivering in the sprint. And I also go further to explain to the team member, not planning means planning to fail. So if we don't plan to be organized and have a focus, then we are planning to fail. And a failure, not an individual failure, but it is a team failure. So we are operating as a team where we need to collaborate. I also go further to explain to the team member their role in the team. Not only about writing your code and working as a silo, it is also important that we collaborate with the team members. Let's plan together. Let's understand what each other will be working on. transparently. Because if we are able to be transparent, we can be able to inspect our process, we can be able to adapt if there are any deviations from our goals as a team, especially when it comes to the sprint goal. Also, I try to address the concerns or the issue. Why is the team member not attending the sprint planning? It can be that a team member, I've had this experience where a team member constantly or is irregular in the sprint planning. Reason because he feels not psychologically safe when he makes his contribution in a team. The other team members really don't look at his contribution to be that strong enough. They feel that he's not really qualified enough. I had this situation where it was between a junior and a senior developer, where the junior developer felt like the senior developers did really value his contribution. So he decided, okay, I wouldn't be attending such meetings because my contribution is valueless. So addressing that concern in that situation, listening to the developer to understand that he never felt psychologically safe, this was something I picked up with the team in the retrospective. And there was a discussion about it, and transparently, and both parties could understand what they were doing wrong. And then there were amends, and there was a turnaround. Then, when with this situation, I always look into reinforcing the Scrum values. In my experience, when I faced this, I organized a brief workshop with the team where the focus was on Scrum values. We talked about the Scrum value of courage, focus, respect, very importantly, openness. In this workshop with focus, where we actually did exercises on respect, explored various scenarios, and the team had to really understand what respect, what courage, what focus, what commitment really means to being part of the team. In my experience, what I've also done is to seek support from the rest of the team. When the team member is continuously irregular, not considering that this is of great value, for whatever reason, what I've always done is look back to the team, discuss it transparently with the team, and we together as a team try to support the team member. Involving other senior developers or even juniors, we talk to involve in discussions with the team member who is irregular to see that working as a silo is not a real virtue. It's not speaking to collaboration. And I will say the best way to approach this is always tell stories. Tell a story of a situation, of how you used any of the above mentioned. Like if you could hear me, I was explaining and talking about what I did. This was in my experience. This is what I did. Let's actually use a structured star method with just one example. So, talking about this, what was this situation? In one of my previous roles as a Scrum Master, I had a team member who was irregular to the sprint planning sessions and even other Scrum events, even in the dailies. And so he really didn't see any value because he felt like it was taking away his time to write his code and to sit in those meetings where he really never felt like he was deriving any value from that. My task was to understand his reason of this team member's behavior and help him come to reason to see why he has to join other Scrum events like any other team member should, emphasizing the aspect of what respect and collaborate. What I did was I reached out to this team member and we had a private discussion with me, basically trying to understand why are you not really involved regularly in the sprint planning session as well as in the daily. And I went for that to explain the importance of the daily, to why there is a daily, which is to check the team's progress towards the sprint goal, as well as the planning, where we are planning what we will be working on in the sprint after prioritization has been done by the product owner, and then the team planning together, creating the sprint backlog, and then self-organizing and picking up the tasks transparently for everyone to understand. So I did all this explanation. I even touched on even talking about the Scrum values and explaining that his actions are not really the best because they are counterproductive to the team. The fact that you are not transparent, the team, you are not sharing with the team what you are working on. When you don't join the daily, they don't understand. when you are not in the sprint planning, you don't understand the priorities of the team for that particular sprint. So I did have that discussion with him. He was really remorseful, and he understood that, okay, a failure in this situation is not his individual failure, but a team. But this failure will come as a result of him not being collaborative with the other team members. I have explained the action. The results were realizing that he never really understood the Scrum values of commitment, respect, focus, openness, and I had to further reinforce this in I organized an agile workshop where the focus was for the team to totally understand the Scrum framework in relation to this Scrum values. And at the end of this workshop, the team member was really, really happy that I took our time to support and motivate him to understand all of this. Also, in the course of these exchanges with this team member, I realized that he never had a proper understanding of the Scrum framework. So he was really happy at the end of that session. And he even became more committed in the team, started joining the team events regularly, started even went as far as encouraging others to be involved in paired programming. And he was even always happy to even facilitate these events, like the daily he took upon himself to be to be facilitating our daily scrum on regular basis for the team. That was really a turnaround, and I was really happy for this team member because he really, really understood what he was doing wrong, and he turned around and really became a team player. So this is how you try to lay this out to the examiner. What have you done? You have told a story of how you helped a team member turn around from seeing these events being of less value to these events being high value, and also not just participating but also actively involved and even pulling others along. If there is something I omitted or not really handled well, please, we are learning in this process. Reach out in the comment section and we can have a discussion. If there's a question you want me to tackle, please don't forget to put it in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe, because when you subscribe, like, and share, you are helping this channel. So thank you for listening, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.